Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and we're back to cover episode 1 of season 3 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled Better to Reign in Hell. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Oh god, Dragon, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Season 3 of Gotham.
Pretty much. Alright, so this episode, there's definitely some good stuff about it. There's definitely some interesting angles that they took. Also, some of the most cringeworthy moments I've ever seen on Gotham. Specifically with the Ivy Pepper stuff that we'll get to.
Yeah, but bear in mind, they're altering that quite literally, so we'll see if
I know, but I mean, it really seems like they just went out of their way to just showcase how bad of an actress that poor girl was, and in the end, I just felt sorry for the actress.
I feel sorry for the kid, but my god, they really proved she was not cut out for it.
It felt like a trap, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, again, they kind of needed... They could have, if they really were lazy about it, they could have just had like a different kid for like one scene and then just make the change. But no, they wanted to kind of massage it out of like...
No, they have to like bring back the child actress and remind us how bad said child actress is.
And bear in mind, folks, we gave her a shot and we just blamed it mostly on the writing. But no, I think it was the acting.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get into that, Dragon. We'll get into that. But so I feel like the writers of Gotham are just throwing everything at the wall this season and seeing what sticks. It's going to be a fun ride, but I also think it's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's going to make for a fun podcast, all around regardless. But you know what else is all about throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks and also makes for really fun podcasting?
What?
It's the Movie Machine Podcast! That's right, folks. Before we delve into the madness of Gotham, delve into the madness of our friends from Super Academy, Jacob Gulliver, Ben Lifson, Kyle Decker, and a host of other special guest stars, as they dive into the concept of what happens when you take a random story generator and try to generate a movie based on that really, really fast. It's got all kinds of insane improv, all kinds of insane weird casting choices, off-the-wall movie premises. It is the perfect compilation. It is the perfect side thing. I am losing my words. It just Jesus. It's a perfect compliment to Super Academy. It's a perfect compliment. I'm so sorry, Dragon. I'm so sorry. The madness of Gotham has already got to me. It's a perfect compliment to Super Academy. You can find Super Academy and the Movie Machine Podcast at hotchocolatemedia.net. All right, Dragon.
Just tell me one thing. Delve into, is that a barb at Barb's line of a quub?
Not intentionally.
I couldn't help but notice that because it was the ridiculous quub moment in my head when you were saying that.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I'll take credit for it, but anyways, so... Oh god, I mean, I don't want to be too negative because there is good stuff in here, but let's just, let's start things off.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing, T. I heard speculation on the first one we got this season. It sounded a lot more interesting than what I was pitched, but I don't know, maybe they cut it out or they're going to do something with it later on. But there's going to be like they're going to play kind of where Lee was at, like a happy-go-lucky town where she's living in now. As you're saying
like the cold open would have been like Lee kind of like living her life, like her happy-go-lucky life, kind of like apart from Jim.
Well, basically, it would have been basically what we see. We would have led up seeing like we're not in the dark, gloomy kind of insane Gotham like we'd expect to. We're like happy-go-lucky town. Like we don't.
Tells me I'm in for something good.
Yeah, but exactly. It's kind of like a happy-go-lucky, complete opposite of Gotham. You're wondering what show am I in because everything's going really well. You're probably like a 50s style milkman around the corner or something. I don't know.
Lost actually did that really well. Pretty much every season premiere they would do like a cheesy like old school song in a setting that would catch you off guard.
So we'll see if they do anything with that. I'm just saying that's what I heard speculate, which is why I tried not to spoil it during the live things. I'm glad I didn't bring it up because it would have been wrong. So we do see Jim arrives with those happy flowers, and it's a somber scene. I'm just saying, Gordon with flowers just seems like such a happy image out of context. He shows up. This is a sad scene, though. Jim shows up outside of
I
Lee's
appreciate
door.
how underplayed this scene is.
Yes, I do. It is well played. So, I mean, Jim shows up outside Lee's door, and he's about to knock on it. He sees a little glimpse through the window. Lee's very happy, glimpsing at the woman he loves, and then sees that she has moved on. Another man enters the fray, Mario Falcone, but we don't. I like that we don't see him, because you know why I really like this, Tiki, is because the way he's turned from a distance, he looks, with the back kind of that same hairstyle from a distance, he looks reminiscent of Jim Gordon. So I think he's seeing himself in that for a while. This is what I let go.
Yeah, I can see that, and I also like that they're not just giving away, like, oh, she's dating the son of Falcone, a cast drama! I like that they're not pushing that right away.
Yes, like from a distance, kind of resembles him and just fills Jim with kind of sadness, and he leaves. Poor Gordon. And then 6 months later, now this time when we cut to a different time, at least it's more story relevant than like we're completely losing time in development here. It's actual, we're doing.
Is that
things.
a jab at Fantastic Four or a jab at the show?
No, it's a jab at Fantastic Four.
All right, fair enough.
A Fan Four stick, as people like to call
it. Okay, so we see a pharmacy being robbed. The clerk grabs a shotgun and he's just yelling, "If you leave now, I won't call the cops." And then we see the reveal of.
Don't. I gotta tell you, I found out something.
I know it's not Croc. I know it's not Croc. Not Croc is what I have in my notes.
How did you come upon the news?
Just basically because I was listening to the AfterBuzz podcast, and they mentioned that it wasn't supposed to be Killer Croc.
Yeah, so I looked on IMDb and I came across this, and because at first I tell you, Tiki, just this episode, it held up a lot better on the rewatch. Let me say that much for it. First watch
on the rewatch, I'll agree with that.
The first watch, I had a lot of moments from looking at like an eye chart, like
oh god.
and again, I also. Tiki, I gotta tell you, I broke it. Basically, I kind of re-examined the whole show many times through this episode. Like, what it's going for. I put together a whole stream, which maybe we'll get to at the end if we have time. Like, I kind of realized kind of what got us to where we're now at the show. I kind of pieced together like how we ended up here. But I'll tell you this though, again, with the whole, because initially I thought they killed Killer Croc, which seems like such a pointless move, because if you're going to introduce him, then kill him off.
Yeah, initially it seemed like they killed Killer Croc literally just leading into the cold open. Like the big cold open moment was Killer Croc being killed.
Yeah, but so basically I kind of like calling him Broker. He's credited as the Ridgeback monster, the Ridgeback man. Ridges. And again, I believe me, I would be still satisfied with this if this. Not with him dying, but just saying with the design of this is Killer Croc. It looks pretty cool.
I think it's a little cheap to tell.
No, I mean like as a Croc who would mutate over time, as like a first stage of mutation.
Yeah, as a first stage, sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like not as a fully realized Croc.
Of course.
My point is, I have seen what the other in this episode, Killer Croc does appear, and we'll get to that. So I mean, he's in this episode.
Ooh, interesting. Honestly,
as well as some other characters.
I didn't have as much of a problem with Killer Croc being killed, just because I thought, like, oh, damn, that's ballsy.
Well, again, without dwelling on too much, because again,
Suicide Squad.
Well, again, I might at the time I was thinking, is that like some sort of dumb rights loophole of like?
Right.
At first, and like I don't want to dwell on too much because we got to talk about the scene itself. But I mean, the other thing is they kind of raised the question of, okay, is the show kind of going in the taking risk direction? Like, okay, taking risk along the lines of the kind of this like we have a more than a Riddler who's pretty much realized before a Batman, which is a risk, which something we kind of jive to, or the other way that might be going about with an action like this. Put in my head is that. Okay, they're realizing we're doing a Batman show, so we're never going to get to see him fully in the costume. Let's just go insane. Let's just put everything we can into it just so we can get it on screen.
That really seems like that's what they're going to do this season, man.
However, again, I think because they didn't
ride, like I said.
However, I'm still clinging to that first one, Tiki. So we'll see what's going on there.
So let's quickly talk through this Croc scene.
So real quick, I do really like this scene though, because once I realized it wasn't Greg, I liked it a lot more.
Oh.
Is that, again, first of all, I love how kind of this poor, reasonable pharmacist, he's making a rational argument in Gotham, like, look, just go, I won't call the cops, it's like, no trouble, please. Right. Pharmacist is thrown out and he's saved by Jim Gordon, bounty hunter. I gotta say,
I'm feeling the bounty hunter stuff a lot more than I thought I was going to be.
Again, the rewatch, I think I'm more cool with it, but I'm
feeling it.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying it. Like in Jim's depressed state, be a bounty hunter. I'm still. Point is, I love right off the bat. I love when he pulls the collapsible baton out, and then he's fighting them, and like just I love just the image of Jim being outmatched by bending the bending the metal baton.
That's a great practical gag. Yeah.
And Tegan, let's say this, and again, I don't want to get into a whole tangent with this. So just bear with me. Again, with this, just because he's worked out kind of like what we're hoping for this season with Court of Owls, the other Scott Snyder story in which Jim Gordon kind of takes on the Batman mantle. Let me say this much about it. If they are going that route, which we don't know absolutely if he's going that route. Again, I want to dwell on it. My point is that story is wonderfully predicated on Gordon knows it's a bad idea, that he is not cut out to be Batman. That's the best part of that story. He knows going into it, I am not Batman. And this scene kind of epitomizes that. Like for us, we can see, Batman would go toe-to-toe with our pseudo Killer Croc here. Batman would be able to take him out hand to hand. Gordon cannot.
Right,
He needs that truck, and I do love the Looney Tunes moment, like the Wile E. Coyote moment. Just Gordon gives this look of like, "Well, you're boned," and then the faux Croc kind of notices, and then you hear him like, "Ah!"
All
the
side is like the not Killer Croc holding up just a wooden "uh-oh" sign.
Yeah, so I really did. This is a scene that kind of sells me on Bounty Hunter Gordon. Like, okay, that's really fun.
Yeah. Also, we get a slight change in the logo. There's a little bit more purple in there. There's like a Riddler question mark kind of in the center. What do you think of that?
They've always had the Riddler question mark.
What?
They've had the Riddler question mark, Tiki. That's been there.
Oh, have they? Well, I guess everything's just more pronounced. It's very purple. I think it's cool.
They added lightning. I think they added lightning.
Okay. Anyways, so we have Barnes in a press conference. Dragon, I gotta say, Barnes, very mixed bag this episode. Yeah. I like him in the press conference stuff.
But later on, we'll get to that scene when we get there.
Later on, it's basically just everything we were hoping that Barnes wouldn't do. Just like, we're just fucking gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the point is, Barnes with a cane, showing that he's still walking about. He's kind of borrowing from the Daniel Sousa book.
Right.
So he's going to press conference about kind of our pseudo Croc robbery, robbery at the pharmacy, and then we're introduced to Valerie Vale, and I think Valerie Vale she had a good impression this episode to me.
I think Valerie Vale is going to be a fine addition this year. I really do. I think she was cast well. I think that's a good thing.
Jamie Chung is a good actress. I know I keep citing this. Big Hero 6 is the only one I kind of know her at the moment for, but I know she's done other stuff. It's like on her repertoire of all the cool stuff she's done. But I mean, she's a good actress. So I think I got faith in her too.
Yeah, I mean, I think she could have easily been like a very annoying character, but they pull it off with her. I'm going to get more into it when we get more into the episode, but I think her and Gordon have a very like Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of dynamic going on.
Well, that might not be the example used these days, Tiki.
Well, I don't know the connotation behind that. I'm sorry.
There's a divorce going on between the Mr. and Mrs. Smith in question.
I'm talking about the movie. That movie was a remake of an older movie. Come on, give me a break now.
All right, I'm sorry.
Now, you had me thinking that there was like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith going around like killing people or something. Like,
no.
I don't know. Anyways.
I'm sorry, I just don't really see the Mr. and Mrs. Smith connection with these two, but I was going off like...
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is just kind of like they're antagonistic towards each other, but they're also kind of like... I'll get to it more. When you see more.
I do like that. It seems like she's going to be the route to kind of bring Jim back from the abyss, which I do like that idea.
Sure.
Which we'll get into a little bit later. Point is, so I like from the get-go, she's doing this really great thing where, again, it's implied that that our guy's dead because they're picking up pieces of him. Which again, initially when it was Croc, I was like worried, but thinking now I'm a little less worried. Vale questions Valerie. Questions this whole bounty hunter involvement, basically questioning the effect of the GCP, which is a valid question, I gotta say honestly, especially looking at the promo for the next episode. And said, questioning is the GCP going to be able to bring in any of these guys? You're outsourcing the bounty hunters, and Barnes claims that look, only a handful of bounty hunters have done this. The rest of it's all good hard work from the GCP to stand by his boys. So I mean, good, not nothing like Simpsons boys, but stand by his boys.
Then we get Mayor James, and how
is he still mayor? I got a question. He lied on the stand. He technically resigned. How is he back?
You know what? I'm fine with it just because I really like the actor.
Yeah, I do love Richard Kind.
That's the thing. It's like if it was any other actor, I'd be less okay with it. But since it's Richard Kind, I'm like, God damn it, he's so good. He's so good.
I mean, I'll give that a pass because in the scene he was still pretty entertaining. He's such an inept, corrupt mayor.
Basically, like trying to spin it like, oh, the escapees are victims of Hugo Strange. We're just trying to get our efforts to rehabilitate them.
Yeah, he's also undercutting directly after Barnes says the GCPD are doing fine work. We're barely using banners like a last resort. Then the mayor kind of undercuts him, saying, "But to the fine citizens out there," pretty much talking directly to the bounty hunters. Involvement of any kind to help these poor quote unquote victims would be greatly appreciated. You'd be commended. You'd be lauded and awarded and all that stuff.
And then Valerie Vale points out, like, well, wait a minute, Mayor. Weren't these escapees all criminally insane inmates at Arkham? And then I love this. This is great. Mayor's just like, next question.
Oh yeah, and I love the moment later on with him and Vale. But real quick, I want to say I love the blocking and the staging of this scene. I think it's excellent staging. It's kind of, we have this good lighting. It's really dark around there. It's kind of symbolic of where we're starting this season. I love Jim and Bull kind of up, almost like by the rafters in a balcony of sorts, with like up the stairs of
right. And they this is a thing the show's always kind of done. They always have like these good kind of moments with this this kind of podium thing overlooking the rest of the GCPD.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great way of having them kind of bear. Again, it feels like kind of like a balcony setting where they can kind of bear. They can bear witness to all the craziness.
Really effective practical set.
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, so their dynamic has been one of the great highlights of this first episode. The dynamic between these two and the dynamic between Enigma and Penguin, which we'll get to. They're some of the strongest dynamics in this.
I'm not sure how much we're going to get of that, besides maybe like a scene an episode, but I'm still questioning Enigma's role in all this. But I
don't know, I still got hopes.
Okay.
Let's see. So Jim and Bullock, they're upstairs kind of bearing, like over here in the press conference on the craziness there. We see their friendship is very strong. You hear that? The mayor thinks you should be lauded. We notice, like visually, this is also being shown. Jim's drinking just like Bullock. They're sharing a flask together. Again, I think this experience, all the experience season, it brought them even closer, and such a fun dynamic that Bullock's gonna be going more in the Gordon direction. Gordon's going more in the Bullock direction of I don't care.
Exactly. That's something that we really saw when Bullock was captain after Barnes' injury.
Yeah, and apparently he gets some exposition. Gordon's 6 bounties in so far, which is 5,000 a pop, and is all exposition by Bullock. Well kind of conversational.
Yeah.
So I assume with that too is like it's been 6 months. So I assume like a bounty a month is like monthly rent for Gordon, pretty much. It's a guess.
Right.
And Bullock, gently. I like Donald Logue's always so great as Bullock. He expresses such great friendship here as he's gently trying to get Jim to return to the GCPD. He says, "Look, I don't want me. I don't like the pride, the business with you and Lee. Sure, you do." I love the comfort that Ben McKenzie's expressing as Gordon with Bullock here. Like, yeah, sure you do. Like, they're 3 seasons and these two guys know each other. They know how they operate. But
they know each other. They just know what's going to get under each other's skin and how they can rib them. It's a really good dynamic.
Taking their fun little pot shots at each other of like, oh yeah, you're like this. Oh, I know you are. That sort of thing. And then we get the great line. Jim, you're a cop in everything but name.
Right.
I don't have to listen to Barnes. I can set my own hours, sleep where I want. And importantly, I think this is a really good thing with, that it justifies the bounty hunter thing, is that, he doesn't have the burden of saving Gotham on his shoulders. Like, he put all in his shoulders.
Absolutely, Dragon. That's the same kind of logic that I kind of came to. Like, all right, well, Barnes, especially with Barnes' behavior at the end of the episode, which really peeved me and got under my skin. We'll get to it. But, and also, importantly, Gordon mentions, and also I can get drunk when I want. And then, of course, Harvey,
Harvey's advice.
I don't get drunk when I want.
Yeah, Harvey's advice is too. And then, actually, Harvey does give some really good advice here. He says, stop blaming. Look, Jim, I say this as he says to Jim, you're like a brother to me, which, again, is a really heartwarming line, by the way. Jim, you're like a brother to me, but you got to stop blaming the job for you and Lee.
Yeah.
And you really think I don't get drunk when I want? So it's undercut with some good humor too. It's a really good moment. So again, Bullock's really strong in this episode. I think because Bullock was just on point last season. Here, I think he's getting really good, strong stuff from the get go.
Sure.
Then again, that was same was said last season.
speaking of being really strong and on point, we have Lucius, and I fucking love Lucius.
I just want to give kind of like, I want to pull like a clip from The Incredibles. Lucius!
He has slowly turned into one of my favorite characters on the show. I think this is a perfect place to put him.
Yeah. So Lucius enters, and he kind of it's exposited. He left the corrupt Wayne Enterprise robots for the GCPD. Basically, he's kind of the resident, as Bullock puts it, kind of the science expert. Pretty much, I assume he's literally Enigma's Jabba. He's the forensic technician. He's the forensic scientist of the GCPD, but also very computer savvy.
Sure.
It's kind of like a multi. He kind of like wears many hats, I assume. And to put in Lucius's words. His views on working at the GCPD versus the corrupt Wayne Enterprises. Well, despite primitive facilities, casual violence, and fascistic meathead culture, I love it here. I do love that. He just genuinely loves being here because he knows who he can rely on and who he can't.
Exactly.
Yep. He also exposits from Lucius' side here. Les Bullock exposits. Lucius gives some exposition that's relevant to our tracking Fish Mooney plot. Is that what was stolen from the pharmacy was a immune system suppressing drugs, and they're only sold at 3 pharmacies, and 2 of them were sold. 2 of them were robbed in in a month. So yeah. So that's it. Then Bullock asked for Gordon's help. Like, why don't you help us out? So, look, you get a hard lead, and if the price is right, I'm there. He's all there, but again, just he doesn't want the burden of like I have to do this. It's more like, well, if it's right and it's up, to my liking, I'll do it for you. And then Bullock has this hilarious moment where he's kind of hoping like Lucius was going to say, hey, remember the good life? Bullock just asked Lucius, could you have been a little more positive? That was the positive version. What are you talking about?
I was very positive. I was like, oh my god, Lucius.
So I love that even though we've kind of lost the banter between Nigma and Gordon and Bullock in the GCP,
I think Lucius is absolutely the replacement for that, and I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah. Which is great. Okay, meanwhile, then this is a great bit that really sold me on Valerie Vale. This bit right here. I love this. There's one great bit that she has in Tiki. So she's bombarding the Mayor James with questions, and pretty much like a whole bunch of very relevant questions about the monsters, everything. Pretty much, you give me some how many monsters are left? Like 30, 40? Blink if I'm getting close.
Right.
The blink if I'm getting close thing cracks me up. That's why I kind of fell in love with the character. Like, okay, I can buy. I'm giving her a pass. I really want to see where they go with her from that. Just blink if I'm close. That's a great reporter line. So the situation, Mayor James is swearing up and down. Oh, look, the situation is in hand, which absolutely it's not. And then cut to a wonderful entrance and a callback. Liar! I am Oswald Cobblepot.
We know who you are.
So that is great. I love that callback because every time he walks in the GCPD, he makes an entrance in a declarative like, hello.
Less and less of a reception. Like the first time he did it, it was like this big, like one of the biggest moments of season 1.
Hello, I am Oswald.
And now it's just like kind of like a routine. Like, oh, there's that crazy penguin guy. Get him out of here.
I just love that Barnes. Just love Barnes is saying one Bullock's like, oh no.
It just becomes so routine for him to burst in declaring his name.
But seriously, Tiki, this is such a the set of the GCP has always been an important set in this show because they really put all their money into the set for the GCP because they shoot all their scenes in this big building. Essentially, but what I love about it is the thing about it, Jim's on the sidelines, so he's seeing all of this unfold. You have Valerie there down the press floor, and on the other side, on the upper level, while Jim's kind of in the middle. You have Bullock and Lucius, and Bullock's going, "Oh no!" It's really good staging. It's such a really
totally.
Anyway, so then Penguin enters and pretty much he informs the press and the good people of Gotham about Fish Mooney leading the monsters. And I know who's responsible for this. It's Fish Mooney. I love that Valerie Vale's saying. So you're saying she's leading all the monsters. Hello, that is what.
Hello. Another call.
That is what I'm saying, and the ever-present hellos from Oswald Cobblepot.
I just wrote down in my notes just so many callbacks.
That was really neat, though. And Barnes is. I had a really great kind of little cutting remark to Barnes too. Just Barnes saying, come on. Last sighting was like she's either out of town or dead. This is. I wish I share your simplicity.
Yes. That's called this. That's almost kind of like a Jesse Eisenberg Luther thing to say in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah. And then we have one of my favorite moments in the episode, like probably my third favorite moment, but still, I've been waiting for this moment. And it played so well because once I put two and two together, oh my god, this would be a great dynamic, and we got a little taste of this episode. I love that after Penguin makes a declarative statement to good people of Gotham, be on the lookout for Fish Mooney, all that stuff. Yeah. As he's leaving, he just kind of stops by. Gordon just kind of. It's one again. Yeah. Really, we had some good shots here and there in this episode. This is one of them where we have Gordon like turned around. Oswald's right behind him, and he's saying,
"No, I'm glad you're mentioning this shot because it's really good. It's really well composed. Butch is in the background.
Yeah.
Blurred out.
It's such a. We get some really. You got a few really standout. Like there's one of our end shots is really good, which we'll get to. Anyway, so like this great moment I've been waiting for. T is really happy with this. He's like, "Hello, Jim." Oswald. That moment,
it's the most casual thing in the world. It's like they are like almost genuine friends at this point.
Again, it's like the moment from season 2 in the first episode. That wasn't appropriate enough for it. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this one holds up as well as the season 2 opener, but
I don't think it holds up as well as the season 2 opener. I will say it's definitely a step above the pilot.
I still don't. I still disagree on that one. I think it's if I were to rank them, it might be like 2-1 than this.
I mean, this one, yeah, I mean, there were definitely some moments in this that were, I don't know, I just think the pilot, there were definitely some loose ends and some wonkiness.
Yeah, but the ending to the pilot's like the big standout scene. That's just,
true. That's true.
That's where, basically, any problems you have with the pilot, I think just they're all completely overwritten with the excellence of that last scene. But anyway, so that's just my opinion. That doesn't a lot of water, I guess. But point is, I just love that moment of like, because it takes me back to kind of the season 2 moment where like, after, they kind of strike up a deal. Then Gordon initially he rejects him, says, "Congratulations on your success." Again, there is somewhat of a camaraderie there, of somewhat of like he's respectful, like kind of like I spared your life, so you're my responsibility, sort of thing.
Totally.
So anyway, just that whole like Oswald just doesn't even like say hello. Oswald just acknowledges the Penguin, and then I love the Penguin saying, "I'm surprised you haven't brought in Fish Mooney by now, Jim." This is, he just kind of challenges Penguin. Well, it's not worth my while yet. Like it's not. I have to make it worth my while. And then he walks out, and then Guilzeem has like the great line that
tough guy.
Tough guy now, isn't he? And then just Penguin it addresses it's Butch's line there. It's a wonderful way of addressing the change of Jim Gordon. Like, well, now I never would have expected to hear that from that guy.
Right.
And then Penguin says, "But he has a point." So again, I love it. Jim does motivate the Penguin's actions again in a really interesting way.
Sure.
So, he gives them the $1 million bounty idea. We're gonna come out here, and again, that's gonna wrap Gordon up in his own kind of his own thing. He starts the Penguin off in the first season, and now he's doing it again.
Right.
A fun web between these. I've always been fascinated by. Anyway, so then we go to the. I
love that. You make the same deep breath noise every time we get to this character, Dragon. It's so on point.
Yeah. We get to the Sirens Club.
Dragon, I'm just going to deem these two Babitha.
Oh, God, don't do that.
Babitha, it's done.
No.
It's done. It's too perfect. It's Babitha. No. It's sticking.
Anyway, so we're at the club, and the club's doing well. Business-wise,
I will say I did like Barbara's entrance. She's wearing a great outfit. I mean, you've got to admit she's got a fantastic outfit on.
Yeah, nowhere near as fantastic as the works of Vera Farmiga, but
not everything else. But I do love how she greets the Penguin. She's just like, Ozzy.
Okay, now let's be all fair here. I want to say this much. Again, as I told you before, Barbara's paired off with really good characters, and keeping that dynamic alive from the ending of season 2, where she was working in conjunction with the Penguin. She was tolerable. And I feel initially the same thing here. Again, in conjunction with the Penguin, the scene isn't horrible. It doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out.
No, it's really not. It's really not.
Again, I think Penguin and Guilzeem really help the scene a lot, and they really make it tolerable.
Especially Guilzeem.
This episode, this scene in this episode really, Guilzeem's side of this is fantastic. We'll get to
yeah.
The point is, first of all, they exchange pleasantries, which me, Tiki. Pleasantries do go
That's what I'm saying.
Because again, we do know that, okay, well, Penguin did work with kind of Barbara to find Fish Mooney in the first place. There's going to be a bit of respect there. Like the whole Ozzy, and again, saying Ozzy and stuff. Okay, I can kind of... Basically, I'm not instantly knives ready for Barbara yet. I'm just like,
Oh, God.
like I don't have the Court of Owls by my side here saying, send the talent for her head. I'm not there.
Okay.
Anyway, so I do love this. They are addressing the thing I was really hoping for way back in season 1, the whole kind of the visual symbolism of the umbrella with Penguin, how, it's the metaphor of the umbrella where you're under his protection by being under his umbrella.
Yes, that was a good callback for sure.
I always love that symbolism of the Penguin, which I do like they're kind of bringing that back, is that, they're talking about, Penguin's protection offer of, you're under his umbrella, you work in conjunction with him in a more official capacity. And Butch is like a little schoolboy once Tabitha enters the frame. And
Butch is he's nervous, he's saying oh, the place looks great, but he's clearly shaking, he's clearly just oh. And then, yeah, of course, Tabby walks up, and this is great. This is such a good dynamic.
Again, Drew Powell is doing such a good job. He's playing it like a little schoolboy in love.
How you doing? How you doing?
You already said that, Butch.
Oh, God.
Again, I love Penguin.
Fucking
He just plays like grade school in a way of just
yeah, totally.
It's like the girl. He gave the girl he likes a flower, and she hasn't even given him a second glance. It's like she's just playing with his emotions or something. And Penguin's like the more the more kind of in control friend saying, "Okay, take it down a notch, would you?"
And then, so Butch is he's trying to be rational here. He's trying to be like, well, look, I really think you should take him up on his offer. I mean, Gotham's full of rough characters. And then he's just he's so, I'm sorry, Tabby, you look great. You look great.
And then, Penguin saying, maybe you should sit over there, Butch. Please. And again, he's been very respectful initially to his friend there because, I love Tika. This is a really interesting. This is a way of improving Tabitha, at least from the get go, that I do appreciate. This is a good dynamic between her and the Penguin now because she killed his mother.
And also, I would wager to say there is a one-sided love triangle between Tabitha, Barbara, and Guilzeem, with Guilzeem on the outside of that.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, what's interesting is that I don't think, at least from what I've heard, the Tab and Babs, they aren't going to be in love, but they do have definitely a strong bond.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not going to be a romantic thing, but they're definitely business partners,
Sure.
Anyway, so basically, Penguin, it's established the idea here, and I do love this idea of legitimizing why Tabitha was there, is that Penguin, out of respect for Butch, is sparing his mother's killer.
Yes, that's great.
And I like...
It's really good, Drag. I think one of the good things about this premiere is that it's tying up a bunch of the loose ends from season 2 in a pretty logical way.
Yes, and especially with Penguins, there was one big kind of glaring... I don't mean Penguins, I mean more Fish Mooney side of it, but they do kind of address it in the Enigma scene, which I really do like. My point is, I also like, if you look at this, it's kind of dawned on me now, is that you look at the reflection here, is that Barbara's the one who's more in control of the club, and Tabitha is the Guilzeem to her boss.
Yeah, Tabitha is definitely the muscle for sure.
Yeah, she's the muscle, and you see it there of she's more of the risk, and Barbara's taking care of the business, saying she'll consider. Tabitha's you can stick that offer up your. We'll consider the offer. And also then Oswald tells me, spread the word about the $1 million bounty on Fish Mooney's head. Live, dead,
chopped in pieces.
Yes. It was kind of ironic given that Dexter thing we talked about.
Okay, so let's just talk about the most adorable Selena moment in the whole show.
Yeah, this was great. I love this. So Butch is sitting there sad at the bar with his false hand. He's drinking. And then good old Selena, who can give anyone a pick me up in the Gotham universe, Tiki?
So good.
Just
Selena is being trained by Vera Farmiga on the side.
Sorry, that idea popped in my
What's the matter, Butch? Real getting you down. That is just so... I can't even take it, Dragon. That is the most likable thing I've ever seen Selena do.
I just because remember she had a thing with she worked closely with Guilzeem.
Yeah,
season 2, so they have kind of a history together. I love this though. This to me was so adorable. Such a Gotham True Grit thing almost. It was just so just him calling her kid and stuff, saying, well, I don't worry about me, kid. And you should get what are you doing in a place like this? It's kind of almost like in Archie's place, late seasons of All in the Family, early seasons of Archie's place. There was this little niece that Archie had. So point is, like, she'll walk into the bar and, like, Archie's like, get out of here. You know, what are you doing in the bar?
Right.
I mean, the point is, Celine just, like, pats him on the shoulder, says, it'll be okay. He says, yeah, well, yeah, get out of here. Geez, just trying to be nice. And I love that we visually see through this heartwarming conversation just and we see this. Butch does not. He leaves, and then Penguin comes by, and I love this. It seems like Penguin's going to give him, like, kind of like a Casablanca-esque kind of sympathy.
Yeah.
But no. Penguin just tells him again, very kind of nicely though. He says, directly. He doesn't like sugarcoat it, but he gives him like the advice you would want. Says, get over it, and also that child stole your wallet. Such a great moment. It's great.
And I also have written down in my notes, also grab her because she knows exactly where Fish is.
Well, to be fair, they don't know that.
I know. I'm just being silly.
Because again, remember, after Fish was kind of out of the picture, then she was working with Penguin, so she's a free agent as far as everyone knows at this moment. Anyway.
Okay, so let's just see the writers just completely throw the poor Ivy Pepper actress under the bus with these terrible lines, Dragon.
Yep. Thankfully, the button at the end of the scene is really cool, though.
But yeah, it is. But oh my god, this is seriously one of the worst lines. Like,
No, Tika. I know what the worst line in this episode by her is, and this is not. I know what the worst.
No.
is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll get there.
Oh, believe me, it gets much worse than this for Ivy.
But I still think this is bad. I still think this is the writers just
you tell them.
This is the writers intentionally giving her bad lines. So, anyways, so Selena's grabbed Butch's wallet. I can't drag it. So Ivy is just like, oh, Barbara and that whip lady are gonna get mad if we're stealing wallets from customers. The whip lady.
I'm sorry, T. I didn't hear the whip lady part. Are you sure that's in there?
I'm pretty damn sure she refers to Tabitha as, and I quote, the whip lady.
I think what happened is I didn't hear it in the first watch, and the second watch just didn't care about Ivy, so I just didn't hear it.
But no, I was making sure to write down Ivy's lines because she had some awful lines.
That's the thing. I tried to forget about her on the second watch. That's why I didn't get the good lines.
But you're right. There is a good stinger at the end of this where we see Doppelganger Bruce, Thomas Wayne Jr., whatever the hell he is.
Well, to shorten it, let's call him Doppel Bruce.
Doppel Bruce? Okay.
See, here's the thing, folks. Well, I mean, should I kind of spoil it because it's Court of Owls, or what?
I mean, potential Court of Owls spoilers if you haven't read Court of Owls, I guess, but sure.
Just to acknowledge it, the chance we're calling him Doppel Bruce for the time being because he's either a clone or he is a long lost twin. He's one of the two. So those are kind of the options we're running the gambit with right now. Or there's a slim chance like someone molded the face of someone else. So
I heard a theory that he's a clone of Thomas Wayne, actually.
I really like that theory, but we're going to say that. I'm serious. I never considered that's a really good idea. I want to see if they.
Okay. We'll see where that goes.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the moment, just hearing him saying that sounds good. Maybe there's something a little off about it. I got to ruminate on it. But right now, I'm kind of cat there. I never thought of that. That'd be brilliant.
Anyway,
but seriously,
I'm glad I got you stoked up with that.
I also love how Selena. It's like a real nice kind of thing. Selena has empathy for the street kids. She kind of gives, hey kid. She doesn't give them like a second look or anything because again, she wouldn't see. Oh my god, it looks just like
right.
But no, the long hair's masking him. He's looking to the side. He says, "Hey, here, take some cash and get some food," because he's digging through trash cans. And then we have the awesome kind of Doppel Bruce. Like right now, he's at least by the IMDb standards, because it will be a reveal who this kid is or what he is in particular. But right now, he's being credited as Stranger. So I think Doppel Bruce is far more entertaining.
Okay.
Anyway, so Doppel Bruce reveal, which is awesome. Like, oh, especially if you read Court of Owls, like, oh, who could it be? Of
course, yeah. Honestly, Court of Owls absolutely makes that cliffhanger make a lot more sense in context.
Yes, and I think it just makes every time you see Doppel Bruce even cooler.
Okay.
Anyway, let's see. So then, speaking of, I love we transitioned from one Bruce to another. So now we're going back to the actual Bruce Wayne, Bruce and Alfred returning to the manor from a 6-month trip. And I like how initially it kind of worried me that they didn't really address what they were doing, but then it resolves itself in the story. They explain what they were doing. So Bruce is nervous about tomorrow in the show, and Alfred's giving him reassuring, like, well, how about a spot of tea to make you feel better about Master B? That sort of thing going on. So again, the point is Bruce is nervous about something going on tomorrow. It's a nice little mystery and like a great reveal of what he's planning. Coming up in the episode. Meanwhile, there's a good scene. So Valerie talks with Jim at the bar, which I know whether it's intentional or not. They're using the same set as Bullock's bar from season 2. So
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. Yeah.
it would be a neat thing, like character-wise, like he's going to a place where like his friend's hope died.
Oh man.
I mean, if they're that's where Jim's at right now. His hope has died, so he's kind of going to where his friend's hope died.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that Bullock's hope has died. I'd say Bullock.
Well, I mean, where his hope of the life he was. I'm saying literally, like they were both kind of hoping to have like a happy ending with the woman they liked. Literally, what I mean by like the romantic hope dying.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So maybe literally the same idea, which is kind of interesting if that's what they're going. Otherwise, it could just be like a set thing of like how all the mansions in any comic book show are always the X-Men mansion.
Right.
Seriously, all the mansions from Smallville, they're all the X mansion.
What about this mansion?
I believe it or not, Bruce Wayne's mansion may or may not. Oh wait, no, I don't know. It might be. I have to check. Seriously, they kind of reuse the mansions.
Okay.
So I got to double check. We got maybe double check that one in the future. Anyway, so basically, we see on the newspaper. And this is probably a setup for something later on this season. By the way, that Arkham Asylum's in search for a new director. A new director of the asylum, maybe Jeremiah. She lists off Gordon's rap sheet, his careers, also mention of the father who was a DA, which gets me stoked when I hear that because I hope they're going to do something with that.
Sure.
A reminder. Basically saying, oh man, someone should do a story on you. Well, yeah, no one want to read any story. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing one on you. So she inquires why nobody's been looking into the Wayne Enterprises Indian Hill monster stuff. Like, why no one's really looking into it? Because right now only Hugo Strange went down for that. No one's looking for the co-conspirators and everything. And then this is great too. It hit upon me, especially on the second watch, what they're going for. I really like this idea that Gordon says we kind of like a grumpy and bitter Gordon in these bar scenes. We're just kind of saying, new to Gotham, aren't you? And she expects, let me guess, you're going to give me the whole spiel about how it works different in Gotham. She reveals that her father and her two brothers are cops, and it works the same everywhere.
No, Dragon, this is the first little bit of, like, that kind of world building, like, the city is a character sort of thing. That's what I read it as.
Yeah, and what I really like is that I think Valerie, she represents kind of the idealistic, more so ambitious Jim from season 1 of like he goes to Gotham like, yeah, it's the same everywhere, which is why we should, but basically it's someone thinking I can change Gotham. We can go to more idealistic, like a less crime-ridden, less corruption-filled Gotham. That's it. She has Gordon's mindset from the first season. That's kind of what dawned on me. Like, wow, it's kind of Gordon being reminded of himself, or at least his old ideals throughout Valerie.
But the Court of Owls thing that I'm talking about is Gordon's like, it's hard to find a quiet bar in the city. I like coming here. Please don't make me find another.
That was a great line, too. That was also very fantastic.
Which definitely just kind of stokes me up about, like, it's Gordon's own personal Gotham. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's great. But also, I just love, again, this hearing Gordon, like, so attached to a bar. And I feel they really play up the alcoholism in this episode. Man, Gordon's really smart.
Yeah.
And I just love this. Tiki just sounds like the traditional Gordon in some capacity of like Gordon just being he's being drained by the city, but in a different way. He's like his personal life has been drained by the city, but not his, seeing horrors and horrors every day working at the GCPD. It's more so that he's taken until like now he doesn't really have anyone to go home to, so now he just goes to a bar and he pretty much hangs out there all day. So again, I prefer a quiet bar. Please don't. I just the genuineness of him saying, "Please don't make me find another." That line. Last thing I'm going to say about it just sounds so distinctly like Jim Gordon, the legitimacy of that, please don't make me find another one.
Yeah, and like I said, it's Gordon being attached to this specific spot in the city, and I feel like that's very reminiscent of kind of the themes and the world building and the city as a character sort of stuff that we're going for with Gordon Owls exploration.
Yeah, remember, folks, we're kind of clinging on to that because, again, that's really where the show's bread and butter could be if they realize that.
Sure.
So let's see. So they ask, so then Valerie asks if there's anything to the Penguins' claims of the GCPD, because they're both there. They all know what happened. Anything truth that claims that Fishman's behind it all, and I like that Gordon. He's a cop and everything, but named the quote Bullock is the reluctant detective in him. Detective work suggests, which he has a background. You want to know your targets and stuff. His reluctant detective work suggests that absolutely Penguin might be on to something. That it would be Fish Mooney's play. I hope it's not.
Sure.
Let's see. And then she informs Jim of the $1 million bounty. You're welcome.
Okay, and then we get the reunion of Nigma and Cobblepot.
I tell you, this might be the best scene in the episode. I really like this scene.
It is a good scene. It's just it's very well staged.
Yeah, this scene is very. I think it's definitely the most well written scene. It's really cool. It's like Penguin and Nigma. I think it's the most well acted. I'll say well acted. I think it's the best acted scene. In the whole
all right.
Penguin's visiting Nigma, so happy. It's such a happy scene too. Like he's visiting Nigma, gives him a gift. It's a puzzle box. And he's going like, oh yeah, the man in the store told me it was like the most unsolved puzzle like people have for generations been able. Some people not being able to solve it for their generations in their family. And I timed this, by the way. So Nigma solves this puzzle in 10 seconds.
Oh god! And he's like a mathematician once went mad trying to solve it. And right as he's saying that, the Nigma cracks it.
Yes, but I do love this, and I think this is what I'm so head over heels for in this dynamic, is that Enigma appreciates the thought. And basically, this whole scene is based on pleasantries. I think. It's like, he appreciates the thought. It was a nice thought, and Enigma. I'm sorry, I'm just getting lost in my love for this. Nigma feels guilty for turning Penguin away from season 2, and I love that they're addressing that. They're addressing all the things that might have been picked over from season 2, and they're making it count. Is that, Penguin? I love that he's not offended at all by that. Penguin. It's like he's remembering his journey from the whole like kind of Clockwork Orange segment of season 2. Of course. Where he was turned away and like mistreated by certain people. That's why he can work with Butch, because Butch gave him a moment. Butch allowed him to walk away. That's why he still holds a grudge against that. That's why he's not peeved at Nigma at all, because he completely gets it, even in his his altered state at that time. He genuinely values the friendship with Nigma. The idea is they've talked for months. And they got each other through their trying times, vice versa. It's
exactly. Like Nigma just straight up asked, like, "Why are you being so kind to me?"
Yeah, I mean, again, because he feels so guilty about, I turned my friend away. I really shouldn't have done that. And he also, I love they're both sympathetic because they've both been surrounded by morons and lunatics.
Yes.
And I think the Penguin, he visits him purely, I'm convinced, for this reason, because Nigma's the only person that Penguin can go visit and kind of be himself. He can drop all the facades, because Nigma see him as worse and near death, and he saved him from death a few times. Is that Penguin goes to him and he confesses that he's afraid of Fish Mooney, because she could have killed him there. And again, I love that they addressed this potential plot hole and they actually made it work. Is that she just knocked him out, and Penguin's wondering, oh, she could have killed me then. Why didn't she do that? She must have something greater in store for me. What's your take on this? Well, maybe it's simply that basically, what if it's not so grandiose? And then basically
this kind of allegory about the Gordian knot, which is a knot that's really complex, but it actually takes just a couple things to solve it. And
you'll remember in Batman v Superman, the sword that Bruce and Diana are looking at, that's the Gordian knot sword.
Oh, okay, nice.
But so I love that Enigma's doing origami during this whole thing, and then you're right. The Gordian knot story just is this very simple solution. Like maybe the most direct solution is the one you go with. And again, Penguin's going there. He's really afraid. He's at kind of a low of lows. He basically did the only move he could make. Is like kind of make everyone look for Fish Mooney, and just he goes to Enigma for a specific purpose. The thing Enigma's done when they first met, when he's patching him up in the apartment. He goes to Enigma for a confidence boost with a direct solution. And even with that great reminder, such a great line that epitomizes their friendship of Enigma of all people, reminding the very obvious idea we've been operating with since the beginning of this series, but again, with such good acting attached to it, is that, hey, remember, no matter what happens, penguins eat fish. And he gives him a little origami penguin. Really nice. I love that. This is one of that's my favorite scenes so far this season. I really love it.
Okay.
Great scene. Anyway, so then we have... So the point is, Penguin has his confidence boost, and he's still in touch with Nigma. Those two things are established. Moving on. So then Fish and Company, which really good music in this scene, by the way. Really good theme for Fish Mooney, I think.
Yeah.
It's solid, I guess. It's not the most amazing, but it's a real solid theme. It's kind of.
I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, it's solid. Just thinking about it again. The music in season 2 is great. Season 1, it was dodgy. That's what I'm kind of getting at. So. Fish and Company, they're kind of moving there. We see Fish, Selena. It's going to be a nightmare track, a lot of these monsters, by the way, I just want to tell you. So,
well, there's an anti-Fountain of Youth guy, and I don't really...
Well, no, his name's Marv. Marv is the guy...
Okay.
See, here's the thing. They kind of named them after Sin City characters, oddly enough. So it's... I kid you not, there's a bunch of Sin City names in this group of monsters.
All right. Well,
I
that'll
don't know.
make it easy to remember, at least.
I don't know if that's intentional or not. I can only assume so. Because, you know, Marv is the reverse Fountain of Youth guy. I'm calling this one guy Proto-Bat because it was a nightmare. I couldn't find his name in there because I think his name might be like Tweaker, but it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Wait, what did you say?
On IMDb, I think his name might be Tweaker. I don't know.
So you mean the fallen tweaker on Bates Motel? He's back?
Well, remember, he couldn't be brought back thanks to that serum. And not only is he brought back, but he's brought back with kind of a bat gimmick.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, but seriously.
I'm sorry. I'm just addressing that like...
But the point is, we have I'm just going to call him Proto-Bat because he might be Man-Bat, he might not be because we had the whole thing.
Say he's Man-Bat. I would be fine if he was Man-Bat.
I don't trust anything because of that Killer Croc thing, Tiki. I can't trust. That's why. Because I would say he's Man-Bat, but then again, I've seen in the promos we had this one weird looking CG thing really up close that might be Man-Bat. I don't know. Anyway, so point is, she's with her Mary Brew. They rob a pharmacy. Marv, he super ages the pharmacist to death. Selena's asking Fish what she's after. She uses her power on a guard. Makes the guard knock himself out with the whole hypnotic suggestion.
Which I might say, I just have written down in my note, it's really weak Purple Man.
Well, I mean, we'll see how they do with when we get to the Mad Hatter, because this whole gimmick is kind of the Purple Man, so...
Okay.
So we'll see how they do with that. But I mean, I see what you're talking about.
I'm still not sold on the Mooney being able to control people. I just want to say that I'm still not sold on it.
Well, I mean, I'll say this though. I think, believe me, I'm not pleased with Mooney so far. I mean, Mooney's not going in the direction I was hoping.
Yeah, you and I both really defended Mooney throughout most of season 1 until we got to the freaking Dollmaker nonsense.
And she was good in that, but it was just a waste of story though. We didn't need it.
Sure.
That's the thing. Season 1 Fish, I mean, again, she's only in really Season 1, then the end of 2, so it barely counts for 2. But
right.
Honestly, I'm convinced she's going to die this season. I'm going to put the death pool on that one. She's going to die at the end of this season. Oh, she's going to die at this season, whenever.
Do you want to do a death draft?
Oh no, I'm just saying I know she's going to die. She's a goner. JD Pinkett Smith doesn't want to come back for Season 4. She's a goner.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, so Fish is feeling fatigue. Importantly, when she uses her powers, she really loses a lot of strength, kind of zaps her strength. We're gonna find out what that's all about. Lucius gives Jim kind of a confirmation on the pharmacy league because he's there. Jim goes for the Fish Mooney capture. There's a really good line that kind of, again, it's a good line. I don't think they're going to utilize it as much as I'd love them to. Is the idea that Fish Mooney, I'm reading into is what I'm saying, is she has this good line where she's like, to think I'd let that punk live. Saying that to Gordon makes me think of, okay, we're kind of taking Gordon back to the Season 1 mentality. He let him live too, and look at how crazy things have gotten because of that.
Right.
I don't think they're really doing anything.
No, I don't think they're doing. You know what? I do agree that there is some good kind of context behind that line without the course of the season. But yeah, it might be. I mean, it is a good kind of exploration about the whole, like, almost one of the big thesis statements of the show is, like, the choices we make and how that affects us in the long run. So
yeah. Again, I'm worried they're not going to do anything with it. But again, I'm just
well, it's a good sentiment at the very least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, so then I like that Jim's smart enough to realize, okay, well, you cuff yourself because you're so eager about being cuffed. Here you go, cuff yourself. She tells Jim that she has all the monsters. Then she distracts him. But right now I have him. And from behind him is Gordon versus the Proto-Bat.
This guy looks really cool. I must admit, I really like the design on him. A lot more than I like the design on Proto Croc.
No, I mean, again, because he's not Croc, I mean, I think it's still fine. I mean, say it was looked. I thought it was a good
Proto Croc. I know it's not really Croc, but
I'm just saying, regardless, though, I think the Proto designs are pretty cool. I mean, it just has Proto versions of characters, or whatever they're going to turn up to be.
So, Dragon, this next scene is my personal favorite scene in the episode.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh wait, do you mean the? We'll still get. He fights Proto-Bat. He covers.
No. I'm talking about. He Proto-Bat kind of comes in at this point, but then after a brief kind of fight, we cut to Alfred and Bruce.
Well, I'm talking. We still need to mention one thing though before we move on there. There's a great homage to Batman the Animated Series in this scene. I don't know if they're doing this intentionally, but I think with all the pharmacy stuff and the fact we have kind of a man bat, because remember the first episode of Batman the Animated Series was the man bat episode, and that episode is all about Kirk Langstrom stealing like the pharmaceutical man bat robbing pharmaceutical companies. So it kind of reminds me of like fighting in a pharmaceutical lab, just like the animated series.
I can see that, yeah.
Anyway, so then it gets away, and we get kind of that cool shot from the trailers of Gordon on kind of that kind of precipice. Whatever, the little giant little concrete stairway. Selena bears witness all this. Then we get one of the great scenes of the episode. You take us through again, Bruce and Alfred.
Like I said, this is probably my favorite scene in the episode. I have to say,
this is a really good scene. You're right.
I feel like this is really just kind of epitomizes everything that Alfred and Bruce have been through throughout the season or throughout the series so far. So
I think Bruce Wayne is very on point. Bruce Wayne is very good in this episode. I think all the stuff will support that.
So Alfred and Bruce are in Wayne Enterprises. They're kind of waiting to go into a meeting.
We got a wise and weary Bruce admitting, he should have eaten beforehand. Which again, T, I'm going to tell you, that reads very much like Scott Snyder's Batman. Is that he and Alfred will have these really great moments of like Alfred saying, really, you should eat. So as you saw in Court of Owls, like the whole the low level light radiation is good for the reducing swelling and so that sort of stuff. Like all these little moments between Alfred and Bruce, very much kind of in the line of what Snyder would have on the page, which I really do like giving them those moments, and it also kind of feeds in kind of what they were going for way back in season 1 of the show, like Alfred trying to infuse some light in Bruce's life there amongst all this training and dour stuff. Like should have eaten well. There's no turning. I'm sorry, take us to the no turning back.
Yeah. Bruce is just like, if I do this, there's no turning back. And Alfred, he's just super supportive in this scene. He's just like, you go in there, you say your piece, and then I'll see about getting you a proper breakfast.
And I tell you, on the rewatch, that no turning back thing really hit upon me. Oh wow, that's the two of them after 6 months of preparation for this. It's like
exactly right.
It's like basically that's Alfred's Alfred's showing that he's on board. He's not like fighting Bruce on this
because that was definitely the big cliffhanger with Alfred and Bruce leading into season 3 was like, okay, they're going to go off and investigate Court of Owls.
Yeah, and it's the fact that Alfred's not fighting him at all on this. He's like saying, okay, well, hey, I know there's no turning back. Believe me, we're good on this, man. You take us through it.
Okay, so fantastic performance by Bruce Wayne here in front of the Wayne Enterprises Council. Very up front, he's just like, I think you all know why I'm here. I want to talk about Indian Hill.
Professional. David Mizzou just said to
Oh yeah. Investigations concluded that Strange acted alone. I reject that conclusion. I believe that an unnamed group took control of the company and left Gotham. I left Gotham to get hard evidence. And then we have a Mr. Crowley here who kind of laughs, like, really? This kid's bringing us in for a conspiracy theory? And then Alfred gives, oh my God, I love the shutdown from Alfred.
Yeah. I don't have to listen to this.
What you do? Crowley. Well, Mr. Crowley, did your parents ever teach you any manners? I don't have to sit here and listen to you do, sir. That is precisely the point I'm trying to make.
But you do, sir. I just love the way he says.
Oh God, just give Alfred like a medal for like foster parenting. Seriously,
that was such a great. But you do again. You see kind of Bruce being caught off guard, like, oh, and now this guy's saying something in the middle of my awesome speech.
Right. I love that Alfred moment. I love it.
I'm with you there. That was a fantastic Alfred moment. This is I but you do, sir. Anyway, so then Bruce claims to have proof, and again, I like that. If you look at it this way, it's like it could be he's pulling a Gallivan bluff, or he has the actual findings. Later on in the episode, it suggests that he has the actual findings. So we can assume that, right? He has the actual findings.
Yeah, I'm assuming he does have some stuff on them.
And he was gone for 6 months. Presumably, he's actually done the research and everything.
Right.
He says to Selena later on that he looked into the courts. I'm going to assume he actually has the findings. So anyway. The point is, Bruce claims to have proof to the board. But I do like that's a little ambiguous, though. I kind of like that you're kind of wondering how. He claims to have proof that this secret cabal exists, and the members of it are in this room. Which, when the minute he said, "This is the section of it I really go nuts for," he says, "The members of this court are in this room." When you hear that again, that's the thing we loved about Court of Owls. Like anyone could be a member of the Court of Owls.
For sure.
Anyone could be under the mask, and you're looking around. And for a moment, you're looking for like the Madam Court lady. Where is she? Where's the white-haired lady? And he says, "You have 24 hours." And again, this is great. Again, I think Mizzou here is just he plays it. I could see him just as the full-grown Bruce Wayne in this scene. He's acting the crap out of it. He's doing such a great job.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you have 24 hours to contact me, or I'll share my findings with the press and television networks.
I would say the Bruce Wayne stuff in general is some of the stuff in the episode that hits the most for me.
Yeah, and then when he walks in, now Tiki, this bit feels so distinctly Scott Snyder.
Yes.
I'm pumping my fists in the air when he says, because they have these lighthearted moments here and there, even in the darkest stories between Bruce and Alfred, especially in Zero Year, when they're walking down a hallway and he says, pancakes? Pancakes. I was like pumping my fist in the air. Yeah, Bruce, yeah! Okay. Pancakes, yeah. I mean, it's like kind of a little bit of Pearl Man, like, I want cake! Oh, pancakes, yeah. Anyway, so then we have technically on IMDb we have a name for our Madam Court Lady here. So either we'll call her Madam Court Lady, or I think what she's going to be called next episode might be Catherine. So
okay.
So whatever that means. Madam Court Lady from the end of season 2, which was a reveal that psyched me out of my mind. And again, sometimes there's a grand master for the court. It's always like someone behind a mask. They never really distinctly showed the leader of the court all the time. So it's kind of, again, it's a ranking system. It goes a little all over the place at times. Point is, she gets a call about the meeting, so she was not in the meeting. So again, if you look back there, you're not going to find her because she was not informed of the meeting.
No frame action going on there. I mean, you know what, though, Dragon? I do think that maybe if we look back on that scene later on, there might be other Court of Owls characters that will eventually get revealed that are in that scene.
I know. I tell you this, though. I looked in the scene because at first I thought Crowley was going to be the Talon, but he's not.
No. But Crowley might be a court member, though.
I think he is. I think he's a very inept court member, but I think he's a court member nonetheless. But I tell you this, at this moment, T, again, knowing the Court of Owls, now you finally kind of get the hype now.
I do. I absolutely get the hype. Yeah.
You see that long table, and you know what that long table is going to reveal is that long table. We're going to see a whole bunch of people in Owl Mask at that table at some point.
Dragon, I will say, so far there's one brief story issue that it's not so much an issue. It's just kind of like it's not doing it exactly the way I was hoping they'd do it. But
no, they're not going to be exactly like the book.
I know. But other than like one brief issue I have, which we'll get to at the end of the episode, I think everything about the Court of Owls this episode was on point. Like so far, I'm all in. I think they're doing a great job with it.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, she gets off the phone. I love it's an old-timey phone, too. It's
yes, of course.
She hangs it up. Because you remember, the Court of Owls, they're kind of going for like a steampunk, they've been through the ages sort of design with everything. So anyway, so then she hangs up the phone and she tasks to the side there. And even though it doesn't look as cool as it does in the comics, still, I do love kind of the build around these characters.
Whatever. It's a TV budget.
Just saying that she tasked the Talon with Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, and do it quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, and then we see the Talon, he's off to do his job. I just love the mystique around the guy. Like, who is this guy? He's going off, and oh boy, he's gonna be cool. Anyway, so then we have this scene.
This is probably the weakest scene in the episode, I would say.
Well, I mean, at least it's not Quub.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene has the benefit of Penguin. Later on, it has the benefit of Penguin. This, I don't know. I'm mixed on. Basically, a part of me wants to give this scene a chance. It all depends on where they're going with it. Otherwise, I really don't like this scene.
Okay.
One is we have our neighborhood thugs kind of walk in. They claim that the bar is on their, the nightclub, the Gotham City Sirens nightclub is on their turf. And they have, last thing they heard is they have no alliance with the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Which spells trouble, and they're slapping Babs around, which I mean is my all-time favorite pastime, by the way.
Oh, God. Come on, Dragon. I don't like her either, but I also don't condone to hitting women.
Well, I mean, she's barely a woman. Come on.
All right.
Anyway, so point is, just a few slaps around Barbara, and then she plays it all scared, and then. Plays it scared, and then she turns crazy, and then Tab attacks, and Tab's entrance was awesome, where she's kind of slitting the guy's throats from behind, and then
we get Barbara. She's definitely in kind of maniacal laughter mode, definitely kind of setting up the Harley Quinn thing.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta, like, this scene, like, because I know that's coming, because, like, that laugh, it kind of makes me wonder, I have to equate that to Harley Quinn, like, is that fitting kind of a model I could accept at all, or as a pro Harley? I'm just trying to... I'm still waiting. Point is, I'm going to be iffy on a lot of these Barbara scenes until I really see if the payoff's going to be worth it or not. Otherwise, I'm just going to be iffy or like really down on it.
I mean, at the very least, though, at least Barbara, like season 1 Barbara just made us want to just smash our face into a wall. So.
I mean, look, as much as I'm still kind of a little sour on it. I will say this though, I would say this Barbara so far is far better than season 1 Barbara.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, again, I think that at least they're doing something with Barbara that is not completely out of left field, completely a waste of time. I do feel this is actually contributing to story stuff. So it's setting up the Sirens Club, which hopefully will actually be related to story stuff. Anyway, so tab attacks, yada. Meanwhile, Selena Kyle sells Vale, the fish Mooney lead.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's see. Then I love this entrance here. And then Valerie Vale enters yet again, and Gordon's. I don't know if Gordon's in a booth, by the way. I don't know. It's just so similar. Well, he's in a. He changes it up a little bit while he's in.
Yeah. He's just casually sitting in the booth. Yeah.
You gotta imagine he's exhausted all the other locations. He's probably drank at every stool in that bar by now. He's just probably, I'm gonna go to the booth. I'm gonna just kind of drink, just standing up randomly. Can we get some tables in here so we can stand around?
And then Gordon's just instantly, as soon as he sees her, just like, looks like I have to find a new bar.
That's great. I love that line again. That feels like kind of the Gordon who's kind of he's exhausted in Gotham sort of thing. Like, oh well, fine, have to do this now. Let's see. So then, basically, a deal is struck between these two, as Valerie offers a tip to find Fish Mooney. Because again, Jim Gordon, at least at this point, he wants $1 million.
Oh.
In exchange for the tip, she gets the story, and she gets some information from some GCPD information from Bullock, which only Jim Gordon can get.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong? Conscience is love. This is kind of the fun. I think people really gravitate towards this season. Now Gordon's just instantly like, okay, I'm going to make the reckless decision. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
I just appreciate it. It's like kind of funny. We're like in a middle ground between kind of the classic Jim Gordon and the Clayface Jim Gordon with the bounty Jim Gordon. It's like because he plays kind of the tired drunk Jim Gordon in many scenes here in the bar. Here, just like yeah, let's just go. Yeah, okay.
Right.
It's like I don't care. It's like an I don't care, but at some level you get a sense he does care. Pose the Clayface who just absolutely does not care. Yeah, who cares? Whatever. I mean, literally, it's like basically the Clayface Gordon plays like Constantine the Frog.
Yeah, exactly.
He just plays it like, yes, evilly plotting. I don't care, Dick. I don't care.
All right.
Okay, anyway, so moving on from snacking Clayface Gordon, which we're not going to see so far.
Unfortunately not.
So far. Never say never. Because remember, he's a monster, so he might be roaming around somewhere.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the GCPD had to arrest him, so he's got to...
No, trust me, if he's out there, I genuinely do want to see him.
Man, I gotta really wonder what the GCPD had to put him away somewhere. So maybe he and Nigma are going to have a scene together, which could be funny if he just really hates the guy that looks like
that. Would be really funny. Oh, God.
Anyway, so let's see. So Bullock... All right, so this is great, too. I love that, again, Gordon doesn't have any problem, like, kind of asking Bullock for this sort of thing. Because again, Bullock's completely fine with it, so it's no skin off his nose either. So Bullock brings him the address for later on. He says, "Oh, here's the thing you're inquiring about, Jim." And I love this. I get you're trying to get. Hey, look, if you're just trying to get the $1 million, I'm down with that. Just don't get killed, don't get me fired.
I love that. Yeah.
I know. I love their dynamic is really strong this season. I'm loving it.
Okay.
Get some rest.
Selena and Bruce are back. We get Pigeon Man's lair once again.
Pigeons. We thought of them as Bridget's birds, Firefly's birds. That's only he's taking care of. Anyway, so then we have a good kind of classic kind of a Bruce Selena rooftop scene. Again, kind of a little homage to Batman Catwoman chats on a rooftop.
Of course.
And this scene's good. Basically, Bruce apologizes for being out of the country. He warns Selena to be careful of the Court of Owls, even though he's not saying Court of Owls yet. I wonder why everyone's holding off on saying that, but they're saying it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, well, again, I assume he would know over 6 months of looking into him, but I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's just shadowy cabal. Nobody. It's an ancient society. I don't know. Point is, he apologizes to Selena for being gone for so long. He says, well, yeah, you're in Italy somewhere eating all the pizza you want in Switzerland. Well, Italy's better.
Yeah, Selena's being very short with him, though.
Yes, I do love that she's defending Italy though over Switzerland.
Well, hey, I'm Italian. So
I think it might be a comics pool because Catwoman likes going to Rome.
there you go. Yeah, you know what? I did kind of mention that. Yeah, I did kind of notice that. Good callback. Anyways,
Let's see. So
we see Doppel Bruce kind of hiding behind the chimney.
which is a great shot, by the way. Just Bruce in one shot, and then kind of such a
right.
such a kind of nutty professor, kind of like dual actor sort of thing, but it's really cool. Let's see. So then we have okay. Jim gives Vale the location, but handcuffs her to the car. Tells her. I think I like this though. This is what this shows Tika to me, and this really I think is a clever thing to do, especially with Vicky Epps, especially with Valerie Vale. Is that this shows that Gordon does still have a conscience, even though he's not admitting it. Is that he wants to keep her out of danger, even though it's just he's trying to play it off in the most kind of a douchey way of doing it, Give it to her. Sure. I think he's doing the more kind of forceful, kind of hilarious, like you're responsible. I'm going to handcuff her to her vehicle so she can't drive. And he says, look, I'll be back in an hour or two. And again, he's still honoring the arrangement, but he's also making sure she's safe. So again, showing that Gordon does have a heart here, even though he's in.
If there's a story, you'll get it. And if you scream, then you'll have to talk to the cops and you'll lose the story entirely.
Absolutely. And she's like, Gordon! Just yelling at him. I do like that she picks the lock with a knife, though. So, I mean, she grew up with handcuffs, her father and her brothers. They used, they're cops. So she probably knows how to get out of handcuffs.
Sure.
Let's see. So moving on. Let's see. So Jim easily sends the cops away, by the way, so I think Barnes really should be embarrassed that he was able to do this so easily.
Yes. Oh, God.
Basically, I mean, it makes sense what Jim does. He just, goes on the radio, he just kind of calls in a very, classic police term, so they'd be called away. It's like saying there's like a Barnes wants you at this location, few call signs, all that sort of stuff, and they're off. And now, basically, the police protection's off of Peabody, so now Gordon's there, and it's revealed that it's Ethel Peabody's apartment.
I am so glad that we got one more episode with her. She goes out in such a great way. This is just such a good kind of like punctuation mark for her character, I think.
Yep. The idea is like she's not in prison because she testified against Strange, but she is under police protection because she's a target for Fish Mooney. That Fish Mooney's in the news so much.
Yeah.
And basically, I love this too. Like, I don't know who ran Indian Hill. I don't care.
Before you even ask.
And I do like, again, it's showing you the potential of Jim Gordon, because, again, as a bounty hunter, still wants to know as much as he can about his targets. But importantly, Gordon still has the detective bug, so he's pieced it together that, okay, Fish is, she's getting all these pharmaceutical drugs, so she's sick.
Yeah,
and you're the original doctor she can get to that she thinks can fix her. So basically, she's using Peabody as bait. Basically, what she's done here is, thanks to Vale's inquiring, Selena fed that tip to Vale so that Fish told Selena to feed that to Vale. That's the idea.
Oh.
And basically, now Gordon led Fish's monsters to Peabody. So Gordon made himself bait thanks to the help of making two other people bait, which is so selfish, but
it's a really cool plan. I kind of had to watch it a second time to get the full extent of it, but when I did, I was like, "Oh, that's clever."
Clever. It's not overly complicated either. It's basically just follow the money, just follow Gordon. That's how he is. It's such a cold thing to do with someone if you're going to use him as bait. And again, something that ordinarily Gordon would never do, irresponsibly put people in danger like this. But again, it's the thing in season 2. It was constantly brought up like, no, we can't use people as live bait. That's dangerous.
Sure.
Now Gordon's doing it like left and right. And it's awesome. Anyway, so then we have Gordon versus. Now, again, it's another one of Tika. They keep doing this episode. Is that we have characters who we thought were other characters, but they're turned out to be not characters. We got him versus Sid. Sid's the white-haired. He's the white-haired Solomon Grundy thing we thought we were getting.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So apparently the kid is not Solomon Grundy, so I guess we'll get for a giant hulking kind of zombie-looking guy. That's going to be Grundy, I guess.
Oh, God.
So the point is we have Gordon going up against, again, I'm not saying it's a disappointment or anything, because again, it would have been unconventional Grundy. I would have been on board for it, but, it's fine. So the point is we have a character that probably isn't Solomon Grundy, but has white hair. Point is, Gordon goes against kind of a super speed infused. I think it's super speed this kid has, right?
I think so.
The kid moves really quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Point is, Jim goes up against Sid, who's like super speed, and I believe Nancy. Again, find the names in this little challenge.
Well, Sid and Nancy would be appropriate.
Yeah, so Nancy here was the kind of our Tabitha-looking one with the mask.
Sure.
And Peabody's captured, and before Gordon can go after them and free Peabody, he is confronted by his old friend Protobat.
Oh God!
And I wonder if there's some sort of obvious kind of foreshadow here of he's not doing well with this one bat, but years later, he's going to be doing a lot better with another bat.
Right. I hear you.
But anyway, however, I do love this, and I love more so the visual image we get later on.
The visual image is amazing. I love it.
I love the homage to the cover of Detective Comics number 27.
Yeah.
But basically, so he fights the Proto-Bat, and then he hangs outside a window to pull him back in, basically as a self-defense mechanism. His powers activate, and giant bat wings pop out of him, again, like a man bat. And he's pulled back in, but thankfully Valerie Vale, she drove up there, she took a picture, she took the money shot, and it looks very much so like the Detective Comics 27 cover, like the one bat wings looming over the person being carried, so he kind of accomplishes many things in one.
Right.
Really great shot. It plays even better later on.
I must say, Dragon, I would be surprised if this guy isn't Man-Bat at this point.
And again, I tell you, if they're looking at it like the On Leather Wings Man-Bat, I think they are kind of homaging it well enough.
Oh, definitely.
No, it's not nowhere near the same
visually.
thing. I mean, it's nowhere near the same thing, of course, because you have a good sort of like Kirk Lancashire and all that stuff.
Sure.
It's still a good way of kind of referencing that story. Because Man-Bat's kind of an ancillary. He's not a major Batman villain, but he's memorable.
Right.
Anyway, so moving on. Barnes, as you'd expect, this does make sense that Barnes would chew him out after this one.
Yeah, it's the way he goes about it, man.
Yeah, believe me, I'm on your side here, dude. I'm just saying that Barnes is unhappy, and he's right off the bat, he's unsympathetic about Lee. And that kind of makes life disappointed you. Get over it. And then he has this really bizarre, it's such a bizarre kind of I'm going to skin you alive and put your head on.
Yeah, what the hell is up with that? That's where it kind of drew the line with me.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
I mean, saying boo-hoo, get over it in regards to Lee, that's one thing. That's something I would expect kind of the good Barnes to do.
Yeah.
But the threat, man, is so over the top.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, your cops are
get you alive and blah blah. It's just geez, Barn, you have a dark side to you.
Honestly, if I were in Gordon's shoes and if I knew Barnes the way it was, basically you can never win with Barnes if you're going with that philosophy, I would have just told them there's a no-win situation. Well, look, maybe if you actually had cops that weren't so easily fooled, they would have actually been there, and they would have actually. Seriously, have you sent anyone who can contend with these monsters at all?
Right.
Which no, he hasn't. Not one of his cops have really brought down any of these monsters.
So he has this whole speech about and Bullock, when I saw you taking over for my spot as chief, there was a spot in my heart, and I thought it was pride. You know what, Bullock? The next time I have that feeling, I'll know it was just gas.
And again, I love the music in this scene because it plays the most triumphant. Bullock's actually genuinely touched at first. Bullock, when I saw you,
right.
First I didn't know. I felt like it was an art, but no, it was actually pride. Now I feel again.
So you know what, Dragon? Barnes is tolerable this scene with the exception of the threat. I think that the threat is the one thing that goes kind of too far.
I think Barnes is just straight up mean in this scene. He's come on, man. It's just a really bizarre, insane threat you're just laying on Gordon. Actually, at least. Come on, Gordon. At least he tried something to lure out Fish Mooney. You guys are very
right. And then Barnes kind of coughs after they leave, which means he's going to die. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it like it is.
I just love that cough equals death. That's right off.
You know it's true, though. You know it's true.
I know it's very likely. I know it's 80% likely. Mainly for two reasons. It's less the cough. It's more so what follows directly after the cough of Bullock saying, "Well, the captain's kind of right. Is that I missed being captain? Is that okay? Well, Bullock misses being captain." And Barnes had a cough, and he's acting very irrational.
Hey, audience, remember how good it was when Bullock was captain?
So Getting a bad sense.
Honestly, if we were to do a death trap, Bullock or not, Barnes would be my number one with a bullet.
Well, Fish Mooney then Barnes, but yeah.
No, I would say Barnes over Fish Mooney, to tell you the truth.
Anyway, but yeah, again, Barnes was a really poorly written scene.
Okay, you know what, Dragon? Fuck it. Let's just do like an on the spot, like one person death draft. Barnes versus Fish Mooney. Whoever dies first wins. You have Fish, I have Barnes.
All right.
Let's do it. All right.
Anyway, let's see. So, moving on from that. So this is I think it's a good scene for their friendship. I feel really bad for Jim in this scene. It's a real sad scene. Is that Jim apologizes very genuinely. He says, "Look, I'm sorry I got you in trouble. I know you asked me not to do that." He says, "Look, I'll find Peabody. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do everything I can to find Peabody." Again, like no charge or anything. Obviously, he's I screwed this one up. I didn't mean to put you in hot water. I'm going to do that. And I like that Bullock. He's not like trying to be super nice to him or anything, but he's respectfully asking Jim to kind of stay away from him for a while. Because he's just
right.
Because it really bit him in the end. And kind of Bullock's, he's in this place of like, well, now I'm kind of like right now. I think his arc's gonna be he's gonna again being captain again is gonna be making him like into the Jim Gordon. He's gonna become more and more like Jim through the course of this season. And Jim, in the meanwhile, he's very much like Bullock and really rubs Bullock the wrong way, saying, "Man, Jim's really kind of acting out of character. It's really a little reckless to the point of like it's untenable."
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, and then just to kind of rub more dirt in the wound, Valerie just throws the cuffs at Gordon. This line cracks me up, by the way. It's so silly, but just she throws the cuffs at Gordon really hard. You can actually hear how hard she throws them at him. Just like, and this lovely goes, "Ow." Just that "ow" just cracks me up. It's like, just "ow." Anyway, so because it sounds like it hurt when she threw him at him. Anyways, let's see. So she says, "Did you know?" Basically, you knew a fish was using you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, you knew Fish was using me as bait, and you said nothing. Nope. And Jim claims, she says, "Well, what are you going to do now? You still going to go after Fish?" "Yeah, it's in Barnes' hands now. I'm tired. I need a drink." Then Valerie almost says something to Jim, probably could pick me up, kind of a confidence boost. Then she kind of holds off on. Again, I think it's eventually what they're going to have is like she's going to give him some good advice. Again, I think she's going to bring the hope to Jim Gordon.
Yeah, I think the investment. And I think she is a good kind of follow up to Lee in terms of the love interest.
Yeah, she's also self-interested. I mean, she's in the place that Bounty Hunter Gordon is, but a little more idealistic, though. Okay, well, let's see. Moving on, we got. I'm sorry, take us through. Oh, please take us through this.
Yeah. I just feel bad for this actress, man. I feel really bad for this actress.
It's gonna get worse, though. It's gonna get worse.
I know it is. I know it is. So Ivy's pressing Selena about Fish's gang. She's just like, oh god.
She just wants to be in Fish's game. Well, no, they're dangerous. You can Selena make it very obvious.
Selena, I don't care. I want to be in the gang.
God, I hate this.
It's like she's treating it like it's like a 12-year-old like clubhouse or something.
I feel so bad for this actress, but she's just not.
I know. I have written down my notes. It's like, God, she's got more screen time than she's ever had, and she's more annoying than ever.
Yeah. At least she had good plot stuff to do in season 2. Like in that, when she appeared, she was actually tied into what Selena and Bruce were doing.
Certainly.
Okay, let's see. So, because remember, she was making the plant drug that people were using, so she was useful.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. So then we have a good moment.
Oh yeah.
Really good moment on the other actor. So Selena leaves, makes kind of a rooftop exit, as we're kind of know her for, and then this moment I really do like on Doppel Bruce. Doppel Bruce appears in his interaction with Ivy here, and again, Ivy's just very slow in the uptake, as it always appears. Just like saying, "Well, wait, what happened to you?" And he's got the long hair and everything, and then this performance, it reminds me so much of what was done in the Court of Owls book. It's like the desperation in. Yeah, I love it. David Mizzou, he's playing this. He's playing this so well. He's playing it like a different character. He's not playing it like Bruce, like just like evil Bruce Wayne. He's playing it like an actual character you kind of want to root for, right?
Mm.
You feel sympathy for, at least at this point. He's desperately asking, "Who is Bruce Wayne? Who is it?"
Who's Bruce Wayne?
No, it's seriously. He's saying.
No. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, I get the desperation. What I'm hoping they do with this, I want to. They've said in the past, like, they're going to have us, like, we're going to follow this character's arc, and I really hope I'm going to be able to invest in him. So far, I am. I feel so bad for him. If they go the direction of he's going to be embittered at Bruce Wayne, that'd be very interesting. He's played well. So moving on. So again, points Ivy's like freaked out, sees Bruce Wayne, then she's gonna make things worse for herself. We'll see how that goes. So, then we. Oh god. All right. So, okay, we get the thug with the broken nose he's being mocked by.
This quub is our territory. Oh, I'm sorry. What's a quub? Can anyone understand him?
He was so. I like the penguin. I love the penguin felt our pain in this scene.
Oh yeah,
that was the saving grace.
You know what? This isn't helping. Let's just tone it down a notch.
It's not helping. And again, this is kind of a mix. This is such a mix. I can't just be instinctively negative on this because again, half of this reads as a proto Harley thing of messing around the cherry bit.
Yeah.
I mean, partly, again, that's why I can't just.
The writers are screwing with us, Dragon.
I know I'm going to be really ticked off if like half of the stuff they've said, like, oh, remember that Harley Quinn thing? We just said that to get people interested, so they check it out. So we're not actually going to do any of that. Darn it! All the worry for nothing.
Right.
Anyway, so my point. Anyways, just to get through it as quickly as possible. Then, when Penguin, I love Penguin's role in this. And Penguin's great in this scene, though, where he says he's very true to the character of Penguin. He's trying to facilitate the arrangement. Says, "What will you give him?" Again, he's being very, very businesslike as Penguin would be. He says, "Okay, well, this is his territory." And again, Penguin from season 1, he knows how to work the gangs and work kind of the business arrangements.
Sure.
Then we get the dumb cherry joke. That's not helping. It is then revealed. Again, this is a good reveal, though. It's a decent reveal. Let me say that much. It's a reveal that this was Guilzeem's plan to basically get them to fold and get under Penguin's umbrella. And I love this. Where are you going to believe her? She was in Arkham, and Arkham. Hello, so was I.
Hello, so was I.
That was great. I did love that line, though, because I love that Penguin would. I actually didn't know anything about it. That's why Penguin probably feels a little close to Barbara, because she was also in Arkham. He was close to people who were in Arkham who got out of Arkham.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Without turning into like mutated monsters, like that being the exception.
Right.
Point is, I like that he is sympathetic to the people who were in Arkham, because again, he understands how crazy he is and what Strange did to people in there in the therapy sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I just love a frustrated Penguin who he kills the guy. Says, "Well, now we can't make a deal with this guy," so because he just wants to butch his flunkies. Shoots him in the head, and he warns Tab to still stay on Butch's good side. So remember, the minute he gives me the go ahead, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I love this too. Of like, I will give Babs this. I do like kind of the "oh come on" look that Tabitha gives Barbara.
Right.
Of just like oh come on, lady, it's fine. What? Okay, let's see. Then we have Fish and Peabody. You take us through the Fish and Peabody because you have the worst stuff.
Body kind of face off. Let's see. So Fish is saying like the body's starting to reject the changes made from the DNA. She's feeling it every time she uses the ability, and then Peabody has a very simple solution: just stop using the power. But of course, we know it's not that simple because Fish likes the new her, and she wants to keep the power. So
she wants the power, and she uses it, and basically touches Peabody, and we get the reveal that is who can fix me? Hugo Strange.
Of course. Strange is the only one who can fix her. But
and here's the thing: this is where Jada Pinkett Smith's kind of depressing this season.
Okay.
It's where she says, "I want an army like me."
Yeah, a little over the top.
And here's the thing: when we got that in the trailers, I'm just writing that off as okay, that's the plan, that's fine. But here's the thing: it's now dawning on me, Tiki, and I would love to be proven wrong. This really would. And we'll see how the next episode goes about this. But I'm really worried that she's losing focus on why we liked Fish Mooney. That she was kind of a she was a crime boss in Gotham. She seems less focused on Gotham, more focused on like world domination almost. It's less. I want my city back. Again, we're really hoping for they're going the direction of see how the city shaped people. It's like now it's all about.
Right.
She's on a power trip. She's not about reclaiming her territory. It's all about I just want power.
Oh, I completely agree. That's a great point because season 1, it was like we had the bar, and the bar was such a distinct part of her personality. It was such a distinct part of her character.
Yeah, we had like the whole thing with her mother, like all a lot of good stuff.
Right.
Completely. It's like now she's just coming back. And to be fair, I mean, it's like the whole reborn thing. Maybe or things that have changed. But it seems like a waste, though. Again, like why she didn't kill the penguin first. Like it seems like because the whole point was she came back with her personality intact. That was the idea. It's not even like a whole you come back changed. She's supposed to come back, with the old goals in set, but now with extra power. Now it's just all about, I forget the whole, my old life, I just want power now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Point is, I'm starting to get depressed that they brought her back, even though we saw potential, like, hey, Fish Mooney come back. We like Fish Mooney.
I'm Fish Mooney, bitch.
Yep. So then, now let me tell you this. Here's the thing you may not have noticed. We do have, Bridget is in this scene. She is a Firefly in a hoodie in this scene.
I was wondering. I didn't know enough to kind of confirm one way or another, but thanks for that. All right.
All I can tell you is we do definitely have like a fire bit in the next episode, and more so, I'm just saying the mask looks identical to the Bridget costume, just with the hoodie upwards. I mean, I'm like 90% certain that's Firefly in that scene, and be Selena and Firefly are in the scene. That's why Selena's probably joining her gang because Bridget's there. Okay. Other thing, Killer Croc is in the scene.
Oh dear.
So here's the thing. So the way I found this out, because again I was wondering, like when I heard the whole like on IMDb where I saw like the whole like ridged back monster.
Sure.
I was looking into it, saying, well, maybe it's the same actor who played Killer Croc from season 2 when we saw the little teasy glimpse at it. Maybe because again they could always change.
Right, yeah.
And apparently they are still going in that direction. So again, it's another kind of proto Croc, but it looks more definite Croc stuff. I mean, it's like if you look in the background, like it's a little more on wherever Peabody's standing. You can see it on the Peabody sides. In the background, so you have a guy with a scaly face. You can find the actual pictures of like what this Croc's going to look like, by the way. His point is he has more of the traditional scale pattern on the face and the eyes like Croc. So he is there. He's a big guy too. He's just not as I kind of like the other scaly like proto Croc. This is a good proto Croc too. Just one highlight. So he's there in case anyone's wondering. So more of a super ages Peabody to death.
Which I must say, that's a really, really cool, like, Indiana Jones style death.
Yeah. I also used some of that.
Let's just kind of take a moment to eulogize Peabody here.
Well, she was, she was useful to Strange. She was, she was kind of a good straight man to Strange's wonderful acting capabilities.
Yeah, I just think she was a really good presence. She was one of those kind of, like, original characters within the show that...
The Nurse Ratched of sorts.
They just kind of naturally fit into the Batman mythos.
And she was a Nurse Ratched for the Clockwork Orange, for the One Flew the Cuckoo's Nest.
Totally. So, you know what, Dragon? I do really like that. I don't think the writers really could have realistically stretched her out to have a full story this season. I'm completely okay with that. Yeah. I do like that they went the extra mile to give her like a final episode and a really memorable death and everything like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, at least they didn't do anything like let's just write Loeb out, but keep mentioning him afterwards.
Right.
Which I would love if they brought Loeb back because again,
or just kill off a character that had like loads and loads and loads more potential things to do, like like Maroni. But
yeah, like hey, remember that one character we have that's supposed to be involved with Maroni, Harvey Dent. Remember that guy? Do we have to kill him and bring him back to make him in the Two-Face? Is that what we're going to have to do now to make him interesting? Is that the only thing we're going to be able to do to make Harvey matter again? Well, let's just forget the whole "Let's make America great." Let's make Harvey Dent great again. Let's do that, man.
Good luck.
Tiki, I want a world.
Oh no!
Where I can wake up in the morning and I can find Gotham in the episodes that previously. And I can rewatch Harvey Dent. I can respect.
Okay, well,
I don't know if we're gonna get in that world, Tiki. Anyway, so
like I said, good luck. Good luck. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you, man.
Anyway, so then, yeah, God.
Oh God.
And Ivy stupidly.
This is ridiculous. This is just straight up ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely, again, the Barbara stuff I mixed on this episode for the most part, again, but this is the worst stuff in the episode, all the Ivy stuff, terrible.
And I called it, Dragon. Like, as soon as you told me about all this, I was just like, oh, that sounds awful.
Well, to be fair, I told you, again, the kid's probably going to be bad, but again, we don't have the adult Ivy's going to be, though.
Right.
Let's reserve a little bit.
What I was saying, though, is just kind of, like, just the overall approach to this. Just the whole, like, Ivy being, like, aged up just slightly and everything. It's a mess. What are you doing? Oh, God.
Ivy, she stupidly follows Selena.
Oh, man. Hail Ivy, come on.
It's just a series of very poor decisions were made by Ivy here. So she follows Selena after Selena's mentioned that she's running with a rough crowd. Secondly, again, first of all, Ivy's not even the most social person, so I don't even know why she'd want in on a gang like this. But when she goes down there, they say, "Oh, it's a spy," and Selena's sticking up for the best she can to fish.
And then she mentions that Bruce Wayne was asking all these weird questions, and that's
worst thing.
Someone else knows about them now.
Yep, and not only someone prominent. And then, and especially someone.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Please.
You better stay away from me, all of you. I'll tell.
And you can see it on the actress that portrays. You can see it on the actress that portrays Selena Kyle. You can see it on her that she's.
Like I said, I feel like this is the writers just deliberately throwing this actress under the bus.
I mean, if you look at the scene, Tiki, the minute she says it, like, we just cut to Selena, you see her, like, her eyes close, like, us, the audience, like,
right.
She's dead. And, like, she knows that she's dead. And then she tries to prevent it as, like, a little chase unfolds, and Marv is chasing her. And then, basically the way they're explaining it to you is that Marv touched her for a moment, then she fell down the well, so she wasn't aged to death.
That's how I got it. Yeah, I got that.
It's in her system, I guess. Point is that she falls down like this water line or like a sewer line or something, and Selena's upset at the loss. Which good acting on Selena, by the way. And then we have some really good score for like this little. I can tell you though. Let me address one thing though. I'm kind of intrigued that Gordon just leaves the story unresolved and just kind of leaves it. The whole like, okay, well, Fish Moose still on the run. We saw the Fish Moose unfold. And he just kind of gives up, and we see all this bad stuff unfold. It makes you kind of like you're in a really bad state of Gotham right now.
Yeah.
And we see this really. I think the score is really good here. I think it's all builds to really.
It's kind of like a mini montage going through like where all the characters are at.
I wish I had a better transition though, because we go from like really painful Ivy scene to this really good little montage.
Exactly.
And they're trying to go for like we've had this in the other openings, like in the opening of the season 2, but it was far more effective there than it is here. But Jim's at the bar, sad. He gives some sad glances to his little leaf photo. On the back is a picture of her and Wade Wilson in a Christmas sweater. Anyway, so we got the GCPD. They gear up for a manhunt with the Strike Force.
Yes, they're back.
Remember those guys? I'm sure they're going to take care of every one of those monsters, right? None of them, like not actual Montoya, is not going to get killed again, is she?
I'm detecting just a hint of sarcasm.
No. Anyway, so the Sirens Club is doing well, just kind of randomly.
You know what? I do like this random shot of like Babitha toasting each other.
I hate this term now. Anyway, so then last and most important shot. This is a great shot again. Complimented well by the score. Vale develops the photo, the Protobat photo. Gordon holding the Protobat, and it's a great looking shot in that dark room. Man, it's a great shot. And then the score ends. It's a really great little montage we got going on there. A great little kind of clip show. Then here's our great ending.
While at Wayne Enterprises.
Oh, Wayne Manor.
Oh, Wayne Manor. I'm sorry, you're right. I don't know why I wrote down Enterprises in my notes. My apologies.
So Alfred and Bruce are smartly locking up the manor with a new yet ineffectual security system.
Mm-hmm.
Still, they still need kind of the Batcave technology to kind of keep them safe.
Right.
They still really. I mean, to be fair, they have to. A Talon can get in, so I buy that. Knowing the Court of Owls, a Talon would absolutely be able to bypass any security thing. But still, I mean, you hope that after all this time, they actually get the security system up and working.
Yeah.
Well, so the security system, they're locking themselves in kind of for an Iron Man 3 sort of situation. Well, next time we challenge a clandestine shadowy cabal, Then so Bruce, he's leaving the room, and then we have a scene where the Talon shows up, and this is a great scene, knowing especially what we know about the Talons in the Court of Owls. I mean, these guys are usually on a search and destroy mission. We got Alfred versus Talon here. It's a great fight. I love the Alfred and the tension in the scene with Alfred backing
his own pretty well, but in spite of that, like you said, we know how lethal these guys are. So.
Yeah, man, I love the Alfred and the way this plays. It's such like a silent kind of tension thing where he's moving back slowly because he's looking for a weapon.
Yeah.
then the fight starts, and I kind of like the little. I want to say it's a good foreshadow. Hopefully, is that Alfred throws some knives, which we know the Court of Owls is known for. They throw knives,
Yeah.
which I really hope they don't forget about that. I just want a knife throw, and it'd be great if they had the distinct knives, but at the very least, I want them to throw knives.
Oh.
Point is, Alfred throws some knives. The Talon invades it, and has like his cool little knife kind of thing from the gauntlet. Alfred holds his own, and importantly, Alfred doesn't die. So I'm going to give him points for not dying.
Well, yeah. I mean, quite frankly, this is about the 4th or 5th time we've seen Alfred in pretty much this exact same situation.
Yeah, to be fair, that this does happen. Like, it happened with Reggie. It happened with Azrael.
Exactly. It's kind of becoming a running thing in this series.
I'll admit, that is kind of the downside to it, but still, I mean, if anyone, Talon is the one who deserves this, out of all of them. Talon.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of makes you wish those other things didn't come before it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, look, I think the Reggie one I can forgive because that was one of his friends and it had that added tension. The Azrael one,
we did not need.
Yeah.
Azrael! Anyway, so
my neighborhood.
So Alfred holds his own. He does not die, which is impressive. Thankfully, that town was on a mission not to kill. So thankfully, Alfred had. Basically, he's using Alfred as bait as he knocks out Alfred. The knockout serves as a distraction to lure Bruce into the rooms. That's why he doesn't kill Alfred, by the way, in case no one's wondering. So then Bruce is captured by Talon, and boy, that's a good note to end out. It's a real no, Bruce, he's been kidnapped, and Alfred's been knocked out. No.
All right, so let's quickly go through the promo for Burn the Witch. What we saw, Burn the Witch is episode 2 of the season.
Yep. Let's see. Bruce is having a conversation with the Madam Court member, Catherine.
Is that why you're here, Bruce? To ask questions you already know the answer to.
And she unmasked herself, so we'll see what comes about from that.
Dragon, I want to just quickly address this. I am slightly disappointed that we're not getting the whole, Bruce being ambiguous if the court's real or not. But you know what? I think it serves the story because he's been investigating it and it seems like he has some hard evidence on it anyway, so I just want to kind of address that from the speculation. That's one of the things I was hoping to see, but I'm willing to give it a pass. I'm willing to see what go with it.
I'm sure he's still going to be looking in the court even more, once he hopefully, learns the name and, it goes back even further than I ever thought it.
He's meeting with, the head of the court next episode, so there's absolutely, the court is 1,000% real. I mean, there's going to be no shred of doubt at all in Bruce Wayne's mind after.
Well, yeah, but I mean, looking into the history of the court and stuff. Once he has a name on it,
still... which can lead to some great stuff on its own.
Yeah, again, cool flashback stuff if we're lucky. That's what I'm
and of course, it's not like they're going to try and adapt the book outright. So
exactly. I'm just saying, let's just take what we can get. Hopefully, it's not too out of line with what we want.
Sure.
Anyway, let's see. So then, Fish has a monster attack going on. We see
an electrical villain. It looks there's some electrical attacks. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, Sarah. Now that character is Electric. Just trying to say the name right. Oh, her name is Electric Devendra.
All right.
So Electric Devendra and Sid are among the super. Basically, kind of a Quicksilver ripoff. Now that I realize it. Pretty much what Sid is.
Pretty much
kind of a Quicksilver ripoff from the Avengers. Then all of the monsters kind of burst to the strike force. Get a really good shot, Barnes inside of the chaos of a big struggle going on.
Also, Penguin's just kind of rallying around the Gotham citizens. That's something I really think we're going to come to light on is Penguin,
being a community hero.
Citizens on his side.
It seems like he's going to be kind of like a Vito Corleone, people know his name around town. Which seems because again, seemingly he's the only one doing anything about these monsters. He's the one bringing it up to people.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that'll be a good thing to see unfold. Anyway, so we got Fish and Hugo Strange have a little chat inside Strange's plexiglass cell.
Yeah.
Got chaos in the streets, and the last really cool image is a Penguin gun drawn at Fish, springing Hugo Strange out of wherever he's kept.
So that makes me think that Hugo Strange might have a larger role than what we initially thought.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The point is, I think if he's going to be experiment, he's going to be used importantly.
Sure.
I hope. Let's speculate.
Broad stroke speculation before we sign out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So here's what I found out some new details. So we know Mad Hatter is going to show up in episode 3.
3.
And whether he's going to be directly in all of these episodes, at the very least, the effects of what he's going to do are going to be felt through episodes 6 through 9.
Episode 3 is called "Look Into My Eyes," so I bet that's going to be like a hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah, but I kind of called that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. So Croc and Grundy are in the future, along with Firefly, who we've kind of seen, and we know there's going to be like fire going on and stuff. So I mean, those 3 characters are probably on the horizon. Again, I'm assuming Sid is not Grundy, so that's probably why.
Right.
Let's see. I have hope that we're going to be able to root for Doppel Bruce before we develop, but before he develops a hatred for Bruce Wayne once he finds out who he is and who he's modeled after.
Yeah, I absolutely. The Doppel Bruce thing is one of the big question marks of the season. I'm willing to see where they go with it. I think so far, I think the acting has been really on point, Dragon. I think David Morose is definitely delivering one of the standout performances of the season.
I'm pretty sure next episode probably have Alfred approaching. Just logically, just piecing it together. And Alfred probably be approaching Jim Gordon for help finding Bruce, as per usual, per the course. Something's happening to Bruce. I got to go to Jim Gordon again, or Bullock. One of the two. Because Alfred and Bullock are tight.
Do you think we're going to be seeing Ivy next episode, or you think they're going to kind of stress that out and make it a kind of reveal?
I think the ending of next episode is going to be the Ivy reveal.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Penguin, I think the reason for the episode title, because this episode title doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but, it's...
Okay, the one thing I have about Burn the Witch is kind of the mob mentality angle.
Well, no, I meant for this episode, Rain, the Rain thing.
Oh, I think it just makes sense in terms of, just now Gotham is very chaotic, and I think that kind of makes it more possible for people like Penguin to come in and lead.
Yeah, the burn the witch thing, I think, is Penguin leading a witch hunt for Fish Moon. That one makes sense.
Yeah, that one makes sense. Right.
Anyways, then the last thing, and I'm going to address this because there was an image reveal along with the Killer Croc image.
Oh boy,
is that the actress that portrays Selena Kyle? She's in a photo with a woman who's dressed identical. She's wearing that red and black shirt that Selena's wearing. But no, it's not identical to Selena. I mean, there's in an identical outfit, but it's like a taller version. Basically, it's making me think she's dressed just like Selena Kyle. I think it might be her mother.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that is something they've kind of they've hinted at. So,
and I'm pretty sure Selena's mother's alive from what they've said before. So I think Selena's mother's alive. So we don't. Yeah, and they definitely alive. And there were hints in season 2 that they had some direction with Selena Kyle and her mother's storyline. So maybe they're finally gonna do some stuff with that. This season.
I am much more down with that than the whole idea of Tabitha taking her wing.
Yes, again, I wonder what happened to those plots. They really did kind of.
Right, it's a mystery.
Yeah, because the whole whip thing and everything. So I mean, we'll see what's going on there. But again, just know that Selena's mother might be on the horizon this season. Okay.
Okay, so final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I was very mixed on it the first time I watched it. Second watch, I'm a little more massaged out on things. I really. Again, Ivy, she's not the young Ivy. Thank God she's now out of our. I'm hoping the older Ivy is not going to be worse than this Ivy, but this Ivy is pretty bad.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can only.
Yeah, I just think this Ivy just had a bad case of she's a child actress who's in over her head.
Yeah, but again, this episode, I mean, I was hoping they were going to go. I mean, again, the initial watch, I'm just hoping they're going to get more of a. Sell me more instantly on the Jim Gordon bounty hunter thing. Basically, it didn't dwell on it the way I thought it was. That's not a fault of the episode. That was my expectation going. They were going to kind of dwell on kind of the hopeless state of Jim Gordon. But they had a lot of other plot lines to work in there, and that knowing that on the rewatch, I think it worked a lot better for me. So I mean, basically, it's not taking my expectations fully out of things. There, it's still I think it's going to be explored over a few episodes.
Sure.
And again, Penguin and Enigma's dynamic was very strong. Can't wait to see that unfolds. I think Enigma's going to be looking into the Court of Owls once he's out of Arkham, so we'll see. See how that goes. The Bruce Wayne stuff was very strong. I was very satisfied with that, and the Siren stuff wasn't awful.
Which is the most surprising thing of all, is it not?
And again, Penguin and Guilzeem were a big reason for that. Their performances really saved it, and we'll see. I have my fingers crossed. I won't want to gouge my eyes out during every Sirens scene. So. Okay. That's a hope. So, point is, this episode had a lot more going for it than I thought on the rewatch. There's a lot more good stuff in this than initially.
Yeah, I think this episode has one or two almost like iconically bad moments within the history of the show. Like certainly I would say Ivy's whole I think we're going to be making fun of Ivy's whole "I'm going to tell" thing for a long time.
I think Ivy and Fish.
That's going to be a runner.
Ivy and Fish seem to be the main letdowns of this episode for this season so far.
But other than that, Dragon, no, I do think there's some good stuff here. I'm going to still kind of stand by my stance of I think there's overall more really good scenes where the pilot had a couple really good scenes and then just kind of mixed in with a lot of exposition. I will say I think season 2's premiere is probably the best premiere.
And again, season 1's pilot-itis. Every show's pilot-itis. They have to establish the ground rules.
Of course. No, but this episode was really good. It's definitely and I'm having a fun time talking about it. Like I said, if anything else, the season is going to be fun to talk about. The Court of Owls stuff. So far, I was more skeptical than you were about the Court of Owls stuff. So far, it's getting to me. So far, I'm like, all right, I'm on board for it. I hope they do more with like the concepts of, you know, Gordon having the favorite bar and everything. I hope they explore that more. We can only hope. But overall, I'm on board. It seems like there's going to be some really wacky shenanigans at play this season. And I think it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's going to be fun. So,
okay, but last thing I just want to mention is that with the Court of Owls, I'm just waiting to see a whole bunch of guys wearing the owl mask over one. It's going to be so cool, and it'll be great. Two things. One, if we can just get that cameo that has been set up of Snyder and Capullo's waving like even a thumbs up or something in the background.
yes.
Basically in the background, but it'd be even cooler. I would lose my mind because I recognize the voice if Scott Snyder was one of the owls and he gave a speech or something. He gave like one of those Shakespearean Corvette. If he or Hugo Strange gives that speech, I would just gives the whole town the Court of Owls nursery rhyme. I'd lose it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Do you think Strange is going to do the nursery rhyme?
I'm telling you, Strange is going to be terrified of the Court of Owls, T. Especially if he gets out, he's going to be more terrified in there because the Court of Owls. They're mad at him because the monsters got out.
Of course.
I'm expecting Hugo Strange to be a paranoid mess. That's why he has all the calculations on his cell. That's my prediction. Is that he's going to be he's trying to figure out how he can not die. Anyway.
All right. So why don't you take us out then?
So remember, kids, no matter how dark and scary things may be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again. I was very positive.